Okay, so now I'm back. It's been about 2 hours. I got lots of cleaning done. I also made myself some lunch and sat down and ate that because I was really hungry. I hadn't eaten yet, so I did that. And now I'm ready to write. So our beautiful work desk. It's a bit messy right now at the moment, but I do enjoy sitting here. We got our big screen here, and then my mic for when I do YouTube content. And yeah, it's a little bit messy right now, so looking forward to cleaning it. Also, I just read Two Twisted Crowns for a book club through my work. It was so much fun. This duology is definitely worth a read. It is a gothic fantasy novel, and I mentioned it's a duology, so there's only 2 books. It's One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns in the Shepherd King series. Rachel Gillig is a very talented writer. She's got another novel that just came out, I think, a couple weeks ago, and I will definitely be reading it. It had a magic system that I've never really seen in other fantasy novels, just very unique. Heads up, it is what I describe as being kind of like tarot card magic. So if you're sensitive to stuff like that, just a heads up. Like, I noticed it, but it doesn't take from the fact that this is an amazing book. Definitely worth a read. Really fun adventure. There is some graphic content a little bit, some kind of war violence, and a little bit of some romance scenes, but it doesn't take up the whole book. But this was a good read. Like, I definitely liked it. But yeah, just read with caution. Like, and if you're younger, maybe skip this one since there's a little bit of content in there, but good read. Definitely worth the time. And also another thing too is, like, as I'm writing my own novel and I hear about things like this duology or the first book, it just reminds me all of the good writers that I'm up against. There's room for everyone is what I'm learning as I'm writing my own book. So if you're an up-and-coming writer, you're not alone. But I think we all can't help but get a little bit of imposter syndrome when there are publications first time around that are this good. Just know that everyone's a beginner at some point. So yeah. And also, I don't know, like, if I've shared this on this channel a whole lot, but I have a filmmaking background and I have written screenplays, and I've done a lot of work in that arena, and I've written a novella, and I've written a lot of short stories throughout my life, and I've written even more poetry throughout my life. But then the last few years, I've kind of switched to really taking novel writing seriously. And each form of writing has its own learning curves. Like, I'm a big reader. I'm an avid reader. I always have been. But I never really felt like ready to take on a novel, or I would start novels. Like, I would start, get to 10 or 20,000 words, and I would burn out. And then I did the novella and proved, okay, I can write like 50,000 words, and I did it like in a month, and I was working too, and this was a few years ago, and no one's probably ever gonna see that novella. No one's gonna see it, but the fact that I was able to write it and finish it. I did the same thing with scripts. I wrote, the first script that I wrote for a feature film was really terrible. But when I was writing it, even though I knew it was probably not the best thing, I was like, my goal for this project is to finish it and see it through. Now I feel like I'm a little bit more seasoned, but having those benchmarks in your like early on writing career are super helpful. Sometimes you just need to know that you can finish a work in order to move on to something even bigger. And for me, it was novellas, screenplays, and then now a novel. I think that the biggest part in the process, to be honest, now that I'm thinking back, is probably mental hurdles that we have to overcome as far as like imposter syndrome. Just know that you're good enough, because for years what held me back from this is I didn't feel like that I was good enough, or that my voice was not worth it, or that I just didn't say things well enough in my writing. And I think you have to get past that. Like, you have to learn to write, you know, grammatically incorrect work in order to fix it later. The fact that it's there is the most valuable thing. We are inside our own heads so much. What makes sense to us might be a totally new idea to a different person. If you have an idea and you love it, but you think that people may not get it, they might actually be saying, wow, that is really cool. I've never thought about it that way. So life advice, just a little tangent. I'll probably end up cutting a lot of that out. Anyway, I set up my camera to vlog me writing. So here we go. Okay, so it's about 40 minutes later and I finished my writing session for the day. So let's go get some tea and have a bit of an honesty talk. Okay, so I'm finding out what kind of a vlogger that I am. Has anyone ever done this before where you're like filming to move around your kitchen and you keep on filming and holding, and I cut off the little plastic thing on the tea bag and threw it in the trash, and I filmed all of it? Like my phone was like almost in my trash can. Just full disclosure, has anyone done that before? As it my first like actually successful vlog, I thought I'd share that with you because that's fun. But you know what I'm really finding out too is that the different camera angles are actually really fun. Like this is actually a really cute shot, and it's just kind of really pleasing the filmmaker in me. So I guess it's been kind of a fun day of that. I'm so glad that I did this. So anyway, I said before I left a few minutes ago that I wanted to have a bit of an honest chat. So I've got my link artwork mug, excuse me. Wanted to kind of reflect on this writing session that we were talking about earlier. I reached about 500 words today, which has been about the average I've been getting all week. Even though like I did reach that milestone of like I've finished act 1 and I've finished a scene, which it's always really cool when you can finish a scene. I typically don't finish a full scene start to finish in one session or one day. I typically will write like half or 2/3 and then come back and finish it. And I happened to finish a scene and begin a new one, so I thought it was a good time to stop. But despite that, if there's one word I can use to describe today's writing session, it is clunky. It's super clunky. And I think that's one thing I've really had to get over as I'm drafting, because the editor in me wants to scream. I think there is such a big pressure like to have good prose, and sometimes your prose is just getting it out on paper. I told myself when I started on page 1, I was like, I don't even care how it sounds. I just want to get the story out, get the words out. What happens next? Just keep saying to yourself, what happens next? What happens next? And even if you write it super plainly, or if you think it's not good, one, it's probably better than you think it is. And two, you're writing to revise this later. And that's, again, what I keep telling myself. So despite all these little victories, it still is a mental game to get past day in and day out, to remind yourself that your story is worth telling, and it's getting there. It may not be there yet. It's not going to be perfect right out. What helps me with this is knowing that you've likely never seen the first draft of your favorite author's book. I don't think that's ever happened. Maybe like there's been rare exceptions or prodigies that have made this a thing, but in actuality, you don't know how that writer's first draft was. It could have been really terrible, and then they had an editor come in and help them. That doesn't mean that they're a less talented writer, or by all, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that not even their words were perfect, and especially not the first time. And I feel like that the ones that are probably really good now have gained through experience after writing novel after novel after novel and refining their voice and getting better. Only then can they kind of write more off the cuff, maybe. And it depends on the kind of writer. I'm just making a lot of assumptions, but my major point is that no first draft is ever perfect. It's not shelf worthy. It's the first draft. It's the first idea. So right now I'm really content with where I'm at, but I'm also nervous. Full disclosure, I did send my mom my first draft, and one of my really good friends who's an author is reading it as well, like as I'm writing it. And that's really fun because it kind of keeps me accountable to write more, because I want them to read more and enjoy it and to comment and give me feedback, even though I'm writing it and it's super, super rough. And they're aware of that, but they can kind of see the potential of the story. Maybe consider having someone read it as you're writing it, a trusted friend, a parent, just a sibling, like someone that you're really close to. And maybe they can just kind of help be your cheerleader, like, hey, this is a really good potential idea. Like, hey, this is great, like keep going, something that will keep you going. Authoring a book is such a lonely task. If I didn't have my husband or my mom or my really good friends kind of cheering me on and, you know, giving me encouragement and letting me share my work ideas with them, then it would be a little harder and a little lonelier. And I think that, like I said, because it is a lonely task, you need as much kind of support with it as you can get. And honestly, this novel has taken me kind of 6 years to plan and flesh out, and a lot of the ideas have changed. And I've started and stopped it before. This is the farthest it's gotten, I think, and this is the most solid foundation it has. So this is also not me just writing an idea off the cuff. Like, I've had this idea for years, and I say that because I'm just now getting to the writing part. I used to rush myself to the finish line, and it took me 6 years to realize that the process has been going on the entire time, and it's just kind of taken different shapes and different forms, and I've made a few false starts along the way and kind of pivoted, but it's all been for the better. And I think if you're in that same boat where you have an idea that's kind of festering a bit, and you're wondering if it will bloom into something that you can cultivate and harvest into a full-fledged novel idea, I say go for it, but make sure you plan, even just a little bit. K.M. Weiland's book, Outlining Your Novel for Success, really helped me. I love reading books on writing. They are such good, like, teachers of the craft. And there are so many different ways to plan and write your novel, and every person's process is unique. But this really does just hone in the benefit of outlining from the get-go. I believe K.M. Weiland says that she takes about 6 months to outline a novel. And for me, it took longer, but if I had been following her method, maybe I would have done it in 6 months, but I wasn't as focused at that time in my life. But she says she takes a good 6 months to do character development, research, if it's a research heavy book that she's doing, because she writes some historical fiction and fantasy things. It was a phenomenal book. I love K.M. Weiland's fiction, and I love her nonfiction. Go check her out. She also has a YouTube channel and a blog, so check that out as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I know I rambled a lot in this video. It was really informal, and I know it was very last minute, and I'm just very kind of a little bit undone. So, but I want to just kind of be honest and open up, and also film something today. And I wanted to write, and I achieved all of those things. The only thing I didn't do was edit the next video that's going to come out before this one, but you're going to see it before. It's kind of funny that I'm talking about this in the video. I don't even know. I'll probably cut this out. All right. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.